into cybersecurity? There's a ton of content out there, and if you don't know where to start, it can be overwhelming, even paralyzing. So let's fix that. Welcome to Simply Cyber, a community of tens of thousands of aspiring and active cybersecurity professionals focused on networking, knowledge sharing, and professional development. I'm Dr. Gerald Ozier, Chief Content Creator at Simply Cyber, inviting you to get the answers to your cybersecurity problems with hundreds of cybersecurity videos answering your frequently asked questions, interviewing industry experts, and live streaming daily cyber threat briefings hosted by me. Now get the stories and insights you won't find anywhere else. Hit subscribe now and dig into all the fresh content on the channel and in the community. Nothing should stop you from launching and leveling up your cybersecurity career today.
Man, I don't know who in the world made that intro, but that beat just gets me going. I love hearing it. Good morning. Today is June 28th of the year 2023. This is episode 397. And it's really incredible, right? I mean, all of y'all, think about it. 397 episodes this thing has been around. This is crazy. So I was thinking about it earlier, and I want y'all to blow up the chat. So on Monday will be the inaugural 400 episodes. And I want to, I'll talk to the mods a little bit later today. I'm sorry, this is a little bit of jaw jacking, but I just want to throw this out at the beginning. But we're going to have, like I said, we're going to have that 400th episode on Monday. And I want to do something for the community. So think about it. And then do hashtag cybersecurity gift and your idea, like it's a training seminar video or something like that. And me and the mods will try to go through it, and we'll try to do some sort of raffle or some sort of giveaway on Monday. But I'll try to figure all that stuff out. But since I'll be guest hosting and it will be the 400 episode, I want to do something for the community. So think about it. We'll try to figure something out and see, logistically and things of that nature, if that idea is a good idea, and we'll try to get something. But I want to give a couple of days to try to figure out, and we'll have the weekend to kind of sort it out, things of that nature. So, if you think that there'll be something cool for the community or something like that, drop that idea in the chat so that way we can go back and take a look at it. And I would love to explore those. So anyway, again, welcome to episode 397 of Simply Cyber's Daily Threat Briefing, the show where we break down the latest cybersecurity threads and how you can incorporate this information into your daily cybersecurity practices and techniques and procedures in your organization. I am your guest host, sitting in the quote-unquote A chair, Eric Taylor, over here at Barricade Cyber Solutions, and I'm going to cover all of today's top cybersecurity and provide expert technical analysis on each of the story. Before we dig into the stream, I do want to tell you about our stream sponsors. Of course, Barricade Cyber. We've been around. We're evergreen. And tell you about the other evergreen sponsor, which is Panoptcy Security. Look, we've been talking about this for a little while, and even myself as part of Barricade Cyber, we're going to be talking with Brandon Poole with Panoptcy, because here's the thing. A lot of times us practitioners and us owners, we're so knee deep into it. We don't always think about certain type of threat vectors. We don't think about certain type of possible vulnerabilities into our infrastructure. So having a fresh pair of eyes to come in and take a look at your infrastructure, look at your your landscape, to look at potential threats and possible issues inside of your organization is literally crucial. So talk to Panoptcy, get yourself a quantified risk assessment, have that fresh pair of eyes from a third party view that will be able to uncover those rocks, right? So let them come all Timon and Pumbaa on you, uncover that rock, find those crazy little bugs that are worming around over there, and help secure those holes and make your business more secure, right? So if you are with us today on the live stream, hashtag team live in the chat, we're seeing you currently. We're seeing Samantha. We're seeing Jonathan. We're seeing Jason. We see Ken. Good to see you. Good to see you. We see Cat GPT. Glad everybody is here. Currently sitting at 109 people live. This is amazing. If you are catching up, you're running a few minutes late, you are team hybrid, put that in the chat. We'll love to see you. I see the shout outs. Hey, everybody. Hey, Steve. If you are the one that never gets really talked about, but team audio, I know you're not there, but we do see you. You are on the podcast. So we'd love to see you out there sucking up this knowledge and going forward. And if you are like me, you are team passive observer and you're just quiet in the background. Most of us tech people are, right? um we like to sit behind the keyboard. We like to get our hands dirty, if you will, in the technology and the day-to-day grind of things. So I see you out there. I know your pain. I know there's a whole goofy, it's a trend to be um passive observer, but it's a struggle for those who really are in that. So if you're your team passive observer, I see you. I feel you. I'm right there with you. So we're gonna go there. It does feel good to dust off that first round jitters and bugs of that first podcast of yesterday. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. So I'm really glad that yesterday is over with. Help remind me of some of the issues that we're having. Definitely glad that we're going to have this video up a little bit better. So with that said, I think we should just kick this thing off, right? One thing, I know that today is Wednesday. It is typically Worldwide Wednesday. I just don't have the capability of doing Worldwide Wednesday. So much apologies. Like normal, I just don't have that capability of doing it. So much apologies for those who are coming here to witness that. But with that, we will dive into the news of the day. And I see everybody dropping it here. So as soon as we start this up, I will do y'all's lessered sound. And here we go.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
It's Wednesday, June 28th, 2023. Over 6,500 arrested since EncroChat hack by authorities. During a press conference Tuesday, French and Dutch authorities provided an update on a 2020 operation in which they broke into the EncroChat encrypted messaging network. Authorities collected real-time messages from EncroChat users via their Android-powered handsets, which cost a hefty £1,500 for a 6-month contract. EncroChat handsets promised completely secure communications and could be configured to wipe themselves if a particular PIN was entered to unlock it. Authorities have arrested over 6,500 suspects worldwide, including 197 high-value targets. They also seized drugs, including 30.5 million pills, 103.5 metric tons of cocaine, 163.4 metric tons of cannabis, and 3.3 metric tons of heroin. They also seized nearly 900 million euros worth of cash and assets, including vehicles, homes, planes, weapons, and explosives.
What in the holy... Jiminy Christmas. This was a massive takedown. The amount of drugs and oh my gosh. Wow. Good for them. Hats off. Yeah, that really, they took a major freaking major crime ring off of production, really. I mean, 30.5 million pills, 1035 tons of cocaine, 164 tons of cannabis. Holy. That is just nuts, ladies and gentlemen. That is literally nuts. I think the only reason this actually became part of the CISO series was because of essentially the hackback, right? So we've seen it in some other organizations like NVIDIA when they got compromised. they actually hacked back the threat actors. We've seen this with other situations, and excuse me. So I think that may be the reason why this became part of the CISO series, just because of that. But that is pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. Zoom in the middle of the page. Sorry, I was seeing something from the mods. I think I did zoom on that. Please let me know if the center, or if y'all can be able to see that, the image there.
Third-party vendor hack exposes American and Southwest Airlines data. A breach of pilot credentials third-party application has affected data of more than 8,700 pilots at American Airlines and Southwest Airlines. The breach, discovered on May 3rd, was limited to the vendor systems and reportedly did not compromise the airline's networks. American Airlines breach notifications revealed that social security numbers, driver's license and passport numbers, dates of birth, airman certificate numbers, and other government identification details were exposed. Southwest said they've discontinued use of the third-party system in favor of an internal portal managed by Southwest.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad. So before I give content, I've seen in the chat somebody wanted me to share this link. So there you go, user. So I just posted that chat for the Encro chat probe. Shout out and plug for the the stream sponsor, Panoptcy. I bet you they would have probably potentially been able to find that third party vendor during their quantified risk assessment, right? Yeah, I'm not sure how wide their spread goes, but this is definitely something to talk to them about. We see. I really don't know when businesses are really going to take their vendor qualifications and processes more seriously, right? So when you're bringing on a vendor, EDR, or your CRM, or whatever technology you're going to be deploying inside of your organization, you should grill them a little bit about what their frame, like, okay, Mr. Vendor, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, inside of your organization, what cybersecurity policy do you adhere to? What are you a SOC 2 compliant? Oh, a fun fact for SOC here, let me go completely off script here because this is what I do. Did you know that a SOC 2 audit, while sounds impressive, and it really is a pretty decent compliancy, being able to go through and do that, did you know you can limit your SOC 2 compliance? Let's just say your organization or your vendor in this situation has 13 departments inside of it. You can limit that SOC 2 analysis to one department and ignore the rest of them. So yes, your company is SOC 2 compliant, but when you start looking at the actual scope, you can actually see, oh, it's only limited for this. So I will just say, without getting myself into trouble, there are, in the IT space or the MSP space, there are what's called RMM tools, remote management and remote monitor and management, RMM for short. And some vendors are SOC 2 compliant, but it's for their internal processes. It's not for the crap that they're hosting and reselling. So, if a vendor says, oh, we're SOC 2 compliant, ask for a copy of that SOC 2 compliancy. See if that thing is actually to the scope of the software that you're buying and or leasing. That way you're fully, you're able to do your quote unquote due diligence, right? So that's something that I've learned over the years about SOC 2 compliance. There's also some other stuff, right? So, when's the last time they potentially had a pen test? Can you get a copy of that? Even if it's a sanitized version, if it's, if they can only produce a pen test from 3 years ago that listed potentially 18 things, did they fix those 18? Did they have a follow-up report? These are discussions that a lot of times you're not going to have part of a sales call. So little tip, I'm gonna freaking go long. Here we go. But a tip that I always do is anytime I am about to vet a vendor, I do think I seen a question in just a moment ago. I'll try to answer that. Um, the when I vet a vendor, you know, when we're having that sales call, I'm like, look, you need to have a technical representative, and you need to potentially have the CISO on that call, or we're not having a phone call at all. I don't care. It's just the way it is. Because I have, yeah, the functionality conversations are a great conversation to have. But I need more in depth that salesperson is not going to know. They're just not. It's not in their scope. It's not in their wheelhouse. And I don't hold that against them. It's just different roles, different aspects, right? So, um, mods, I did see a question come into the chat, but it's fly. Oh, here we go. Eric, have you ever seen tools like Quick Assist being used by APTs? Oh, Leonardo. Oh, uh, okay. I promise we'll go into jaw jacking. Short answer, yes, but I will address that in jaw jacking, Leonardo. On with the stories.
Microsoft is
Oh,
investigating
so sorry about that. I was not sharing the screen, so you did not hear the audio.
the system in favor of port numbers, dates of birth. Airman's issue may also affect users in South America as their Exchange Online mailboxes. Microsoft.
Sorry, I'm trying to get the audio right. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me 1 second. Go back. Just go back 2 seconds. Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Microsoft service outage woes continue. Microsoft is investigating ongoing issues causing some users to receive unexpected 500 errors when attempting to access their Exchange Online mailboxes. Microsoft initially reported the outage only impacted the North American region, but user reports showed the issue may also affect users in South America who have also reported Outlook desktop application crashes. Microsoft later confirmed that connectivity issues are more widespread than initially reported. Earlier this month, Microsoft services including Azure Portal, Outlook.com, and OneDrive were taken down following DDoS attacks claimed by a threat actor known as Anonymous Sudan.
Mm. I mean, this just goes to some of the story that we seen yesterday, right, ladies and gentlemen, where phishing attempts are going against Microsoft. Now we've got outages. I mean, Microsoft's been having a lot of problems lately, and I mean, let's just be honest, right? I mean, you take the rack space, take the data breach out of things, but you take rack space, you take Netflix, you take um, any of these massive either US or global entities, and they're going to have problems because there's going to be, their landscape is so large, and so things are constantly moving. They're going to be under attack, right? So, everybody wants that thousand or that pie in the sky, breach, and hey, we're able to hang our hat on this particular thing, and it's going, so yeah, hopefully you would think Microsoft by now would have a little bit better controls for redundancy. I mean, they do have global freaking data centers, right? So, you're in 2023, I don't think it's really an acceptable issue for unless there was some sort of back end network routing or something. I just don't see it, right? Like, why can't your Outlook.com go to a different IP address? Again, and this is geolocated. It was in South America, in some South American users, yeah. So it could have been some sort of geo routing issue. So, but there's nothing in here saying what exactly caused the actual outage, right? So maybe that'll be in tomorrow's story, but who knows?
UCLA, Siemens Energy, and Schneider Electric join growing list of MOVEit breach victims.
Yay!
Several more organizations have confirmed falling victim to a hacking campaign targeting Progress Software's popular MOVEit file transfer tool. UCLA said its IT security team discovered on June 1st that it was targeted and then mobilized its incident response procedures to patch the vulnerability. Meanwhile, a spokesperson for Siemens Energy confirmed that the company was among those targeted, but said so far they found that no critical data has been compromised. Additionally, Schneider Electric, one of the world's largest digital automation companies, confirmed that it's a MOVEit user and that they're investigating what data may have been accessed. Finally, low-cost airline Allegiant Air and New York City's public school system announced in recent days that they were impacted by the MOVEit fiasco and are in process of notifying breach victims. Progress Software is facing a federal class action lawsuit over its handling of the breaches.
Yeah, this MOVEit is just the gift that's just going to be it's just going to keep giving. That's all there is to it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I didn't even know about this software until this breach. When I see it coming out, I'm like, whatever. It's going to affect a couple people. But the stories just keep coming out. I'm like, wow, this was actually, used by a lot more people than I originally thought. So it's, and here's the question as well. I actually need to go on to the Clop Tour Network and see if they've actually started posting anything. Because when they originally were making those communications, they pretty much said, hey, if you've been impacted by us, then, reach out to us and then we'll talk to you. So I do wonder, just how widespread this really is, who's being potentially disclosed, things of that nature. So, the simple fact, what did that happen like 2-3 weeks ago? And now we're at 100 organizations or more than 100 organizations around the world affected by this hacking campaign. Co-op definitely put a massive, bullseye on their back. So you never know. They could definitely be part definitely be a part of some sort of. Oh, there you are. That's right. Sorry, I had a brain fart. So yeah, the U.S. government actually put the, what is it, $1 million or $10 million on the line to be able to capture anybody who may have been part of the Clop ransomware group. So yeah, very cool, very cool. Anyway, yeah, at this point, it's just, I guess, if you're in an organization, I think the best thing for you to do really is talk to all your vendors. If they have not been on this list, this thing's a link. Let's see if it actually, does it actually list out? Not now, go away. Trying to see. No, it doesn't look like it's got an actual list. They kind of linked it in the story here, including 7 U.S. companies have been. So yeah, this guy just made a mention of it. I thought that sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I thought that was actually some sort of detailed list that would actually show, of the over 100 victims. But anyway, yeah, I guess do your due diligence, these, right? We have the TTPs in house. Been talking to a couple potential folks that have been impacted by it. So it's just, like I said, it's the gift that keeps on giving. And with that, let's go in and hear the mid-roll.
And now, a word from our sponsor, AppOmni. Over-provisioned users can expose your organization's most sensitive data. Just a single attack on one of those users may compromise your entire SaaS estate. With AppOmni's identity and threat detection capabilities, you can detect and respond to suspicious activities within your SaaS environment. Gain visibility into over-provisioned users, the SaaS data they have access to, and receive guided remediation. Get started at appomni.com. That's APPOMNI.com.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is the part of the show where we do definitely talk about the fun part of the Simply Cyber Community Challenge. If you are new here, this is a LinkedIn initiative that we have going, a part of the group. Before I get started, hopefully George Strasburger is in the chat. George, please say hi if you are, and please get ready to tag somebody in there. I do see in the mod chat that we do have somebody on standby if George is not in here. If you have not seen George's post from yesterday, I will drop this into the chat for everybody to take a look at. He does. Yeah, he did make a mention here of using Chat GPT to help him write this post today, to help cut down, because apparently it was a little bit too long for even LinkedIn's type of notification. So it's definitely interesting. But he does talk about some of the struggles he is going through with ADHD. I'm right there with you. So definitely, read his story and, connect with other people who are on the Simply Cyber Community Challenge hashtag, and kind of go from there. Connect with other people that are, we are a group of folks with the same mindset, same mentalities. You know, I bet you put 100 of us in a room of the wonderful 177 people currently watching, you know, you'll probably make 10 good friends at least, right? Maybe even lifelong friends. You just never know. It's crazy how that thing works. So bringing everybody together again of like mind and same goals and things of that nature, you can make some lasting friendship. So anyway, also later today, starting in 4 hours, is another part 3 of 8 of decrypting marketing jargon for cyber enterprises, which is the series that Dr. Gerald Oger started for LinkedIn. Again, I gave that hint yesterday. Some people have said it. I call this individual Smiley, who will be guest hosting. Very, very eager to see this at 1 p.m. For the guest host that will be filling in for Dr. Gerald Ozier for this one today. So please, if you have not bookmarked this, put this on your calendar. Definitely click that link in the chat and set up to watch it. With that, we will go on into the post roll, ladies and gentlemen.
Mockingjay slips by EDR with the process injection technique. Researchers at Israeli-based Security Joes have discovered a process injection method called Mockingjay that does not rely on EDR-monitored APIs. Process injection manipulates the memory of a process to either add new functionality or modify its behavior. Mockingjay leverages dynamic link libraries with default read, write, execute permissions to push code into the address space of running processes. The approach requires less effort to execute and reduces the likelihood of detection by endpoint security mechanisms, making it an attractive option for attackers.
All right, so this one is an interesting one. This really will get a little technical. So what essentially they're doing, I ran this thing through a sandboxing yesterday, but essentially they are doing what's called DLL sideloading. So okay, let's get real technical here for a second. The way that Windows works, when you launch an application and there's a DLL that's required for application, let's just say calculator.exe or calc.exe. If there is a DLL that's required for that application to run, there is a directory of trees that Windows will naturally go through to look for that DLL before it actually or it goes to that list of directories to find the DLL that's required before it says, "Hey, I can't find that DLL." I mean, everybody here, I'm sure, has seen that particular situation where, "Hey, we can't find DLL to load this application. We got an error." And I don't want to. It's kind of DFIR-ish, so I don't want to really say what that directory is. But if you circumvent, so let's just say you have, DLL is the third directory or fourth directory down in that line, right? But if you, what's called side loading DLL is you putting that DLL quicker in the directory chain of DLLs that Microsoft will look through, then you're side loading a DLL. You're doing injection of a DLL file into an application before it's able to load the real DLL, right? So let's just say, to break this thing down in layman's terms, you're going on Amtrak. Me and Dr. Jared Ozier and some other of you fine folks in chat, we're all in the Charleston, South Carolina area, or in South Carolina. We have a local Amtrak up here in Charleston. So let's say I jump on the Amtrak here in Charleston. I'm going to an unknown destination. So we're launching our application called a train, and it's trying to get to its destination. But that DLL file is located at the destination. We're putting a DLL file at stop 2 or 3, thus side loading a DLL. So that's kind of a little bit of oversimplification of that, but that's essentially what they're doing. So they're doing DLL injection, thus to inject processes into the workstation that will disable and do other things to potential EDRs and all that stuff. So hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Submarine cables at growing risk of cyber attacks. Researchers from Recorded Future say that recent geopolitical developments, including the Russia-Ukraine conflict, China's coercive actions toward Taiwan, and growing tensions between the US and China, increase the risk that submarine cables will be the targets for sabotage and even espionage attacks. An estimated 99% of intercontinental internet traffic and data and voice communication is transmitted through fiber optic submarine cables laid along the ocean floor. The report cited 2 submarine cables connecting Taiwan to the island of Matsu were cut by Chinese civilian ships, likely intentionally, within 6 days of each other back in February. Earlier this month, Dmitry Medvedev, a close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, declared that Russia should have free hand to destroy its enemies' undersea communication cables. In addition to physical attacks, the report highlights the risk of cyber attacks on undersea cables, though there is only one known example of such a cyber attack back in April of 2022, when the U.S. government revealed it fended off an attack on a cable linking Hawaii to the Pacific region.
Oh my gosh. So I'll have to go back and read this story because Dr. Jared Ozier completely train wrecked me with his comment saying that he can smell what I am stepping in. So, and those who don't know, okay, so there are literally fiber optic cables that span the globe, right? And there's always been a lot of communications around, or communications and talks and things about that, about foreign adversaries, Russia, China, whoever, essentially dropping submarines down and tapping into these cables, and thus potentially spying on potential communications that is traveling across the wire, or in this case fiber. A free hand to destroy all enemies undersea. Yeah, so of course we're closely monitoring more Russia garbage. So it's gonna, that whole thing is, I'll stop there before I get too political, because I can go off a freaking tinfoil hat deep end. Yeah, it is an issue, especially for national security efforts, right? So when you got quote operations abroad and you're